Blog Talk Radio.
Forget all you know about podcasts. We welcome you to an experience uniquely different. Please join us for our coverage of all entertainment on the fringe of society. The candles are lit, the lights are down low. It is now time to welcome our host as he steps up to the pulpit. The sacrifice has been prepared for the midnight black mass. And welcome back to the Midnight Black Mass. At this time, I would like to welcome back to the program my guest for his appearance here on part 2 of the Wildside Chronicles, the being of Inconceivable Horror, the No Pain Train, Iceberg. Welcome back to the show, my brother. Had a good time last week.
Yeah, brother, me too. What's going on, Red?
Oh, man, just chilling out here outside the compound just like I was last time. Still enjoying the fall. Now I got me an apple cider out here of the alcoholic variety.
Oh, yeah? I hear you,
Oh,
son.
yeah. What about yourself, man?
I got a big cold one sitting between my legs, too, so we on par together.
Awesome. Well, it's always good to share a brew with your brother, even if you're hundreds of miles away. Well, let's get right down to business, baby. Last week, we left the program when you had really debuted at Wildside. We talked about your early days there. We talked about coming in. We talked about all of the stuff that you did even before that, which included Japan and Puerto Rico and Abdullah the Butcher and lots of fun stuff. But this week, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this Wildside Chronicles. Now we're going to talk about your run being paired with Jeff G. Bailey and the NWA Elite and what you guys accomplished. First of all, your thoughts just on Bailey as a manager and a guy, and kind of tell the story about how you guys got paired up. You did a little bit there last week, but more into where the push took you and what it took to become the monster that you did.
Like I said, man, I came in and, like I said, I don't think Jeff exactly wanted to work with me at that point in time. But, you know, I had Big Business Brown, who was Jeff's cohort, and I spent quite a bit of time with him. You know, I touched on the fact that Jeff, you know, beat the shit out of me with everything, with the exception of the damn kitchen sink in the first half of our TV taping, and that's where the No Pain Train moniker came from. I mean, he beat me slap fucking bloody in the middle of that damn ring, you know, and so when it came time to work with Scotty, like I said, Scotty was the champion at the time, and I happened to be what I feel like was a piss poor fill-in, Steve Carino, who was the NWA World Champion at the time. You know, Jeff sent Biz out with me because I think he was unsure of my capabilities. And so we go out, man, and I swear me and Scotty made magic together. He made me look like $1 million. And, I mean, just to reiterate, Scotty is the one that got me my spot in the company. Because he literally bumped his ass off for me. And, you know, I was nobody coming into that fucking building. And I know the fans there, you know, they were hardcore fans, and they loved who they loved. And they didn't know who in the fuck I was, you know, with the exception of just seeing me in those couple of little, you know, job spots that I did. So, I don't think they had the expectations that I could do what I could do, much like Jeff did at the time. But by the time that match was over with, I had a new best friend in that building, and that was Jeff C. Bailey.
Oh, yeah. And coming out of that, Jeff really, he told me for a long time how he'd always wanted a monster like that. And when he was able to recreate sort of like all of his favorite manager monster combinations with you, growing up in the Mid-Atlantic area like he did, that it was pretty much a dream come true for him. And you were really one of the first, like, super psychotic monsters that he had there at Wildside, and really became the standard bearer for that. As far as the promos, you used to really kill it, too, because, Jeff would be reiterating, about all of these serial killers, and he would be laying out very specifically dates and times of events, and you would just tell the story with your eyes, like with the facial expressions that you were making and the way you would shake your head. How did that chemistry grow, and where did that magic sort of come from? Because that's still talked about to this day, is the chemistry that you two had in the interviews.
Well, he did all the talking. So all I had to do at that point was just, kind of react to what he was saying. And I don't know exactly where the stare came from, but I know through like 99% of our interviews, he would talk, and I would never blink an eye. You know what I'm saying? I would stare through the camera. And, I think, he got it over, but I think I helped sell it just for the fact that, I didn't blink an eye. And it was like I was just so wrapped up into what he was saying, and, I don't know, man. It was just magic from the very first promo we did together.
Yeah, it really was. Like, Bailey was without question, it still is without question, one of the best wordsmiths and talkers and promo guys, managers all around in the business still today. But I don't think he ever had maybe Shatter or Gunner, Teenage Gunner, another client that connected with him on the level that you did, both in the interviews and at ringside when you guys were on. Listen, maybe only other guy would be Gunner with Bailey, where they had just like a really special chemistry. AJ too, of course. Can't discount AJ Styles, but it was totally different, totally different in both of their early days before they learned a lot more, So, just very cool, and that's still some of my favorite memories, really, going back and filming those promos and coming up with all that crazy shit.
Well, listen, don't sell yourself short, brother, because I tell people to this day, I had the honor and the privilege of working with absolutely the two best managers, talkers that the business has seen since Jim Cornette, and that would be Bailey and that would be you.
I appreciate it, man.
You guys made, what we did. You made that shit real, and I couldn't have asked to been put in a better position, whether it was with the Elite or with the Rejects, than I was, because I had the absolute two best managers still to this day, and I'll put you guys up against anybody. Like I said, right alongside Cornette, you guys were fucking awesome. You knew exactly what you were going to say and how you were going to say it and how you were going to fucking get it across. And you knew how to get your guys over. And you got yourselves over, in the process. So, I mean...
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I do.
We just... Look, all we did is we stuck our ears out and listened to what you guys were saying, and we went out and executed what was being said. So
you did, man. That you did.
None of us, nobody in the elite and nobody in the rejects can take credit for a damn thing that we did, because all we did was go out and execute what you guys were saying. You know, you guys were preaching it, and, you know, we were the fucking choir, and we went out and fucking did that shit. So I owe everything to you two guys.
Well, thank you, man. The love is mutual, brother. You know that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And when you talk about just like building a monster, you were the textbook example of that in Wildside, man. You were the guy that we fed you just meat after meat after meat to get you ready for those big fights. And you know, eventually you tangled with the David Youngs of the world and things, and Onyx and the big stars. But, you know, on the rise, you were just killing people. One of the most memorable ones to me was the night, a lot of the fans may remember this one, it was quite talked about because of its brutality, with Big Daddy Goss. Do you have any reflections on that? Only I say that because it aired on the Wildside TV that they've been putting up on YouTube and re-airing in places here recently, and so it came back up, and that was a really fun memory.
I tell you what, man, that whole angle was great, you know, because it was, you know, there was a lot of shit going on before I got involved with it. You know, it was the whole Ed Ferrara thing and Goth and, you know, whatever it was, and then, you know, the deal he had with Bailey. And, you know, it was kind of personal, man. Now, I mean, I see the guy today, and I talk to him, and I enjoy seeing him and whatever. But I mean, it was very personal at that point. You know, this is a guy that, you know, he thought that he was hotter shit than what he was. You know, he had a good look, don't get me wrong, but, I mean, he just bought into himself a whole hell of a lot more than, you know, our fan base did, and even more than what the office did. So, you know, when that shit came about, you know, I think there was maybe two people outside of myself and Bailey that were iggy to that whole deal when they were stretching him out, because, you know, Andrew Thomas, for one, we couldn't afford to lose Andrew, because Andrew's like the absolutely best fucking ref in the business today, even though he's not doing it so much anymore. He's working the office. But him and fucking Rodeo, God bless Rodeo's heart, wherever he's at, I love him to death. That's the only two fucking guys that were iggy to that spot.
Rest his soul, man. Rodeo, he passed away last year.
Absolutely, man. And you know what, man? I actually spoke at his funeral. I had the honor of speaking. Yeah, I had the honor of speaking at his funeral, man. Miss Kathy actually approached. I think it was Jerry, and asked him if he'd contact me and have me come up to speak at his funeral. And
man,
you know,
that's awful kind of you.
It was such an honor, man. It was an honor, you know.
And then for those that don't know, just real quick, by the way, for those that don't know, Rodeo was like one of the Wildside mainstay security guards, like hand around the building. He's the guy you maybe saw on TV but never knew who he was, but he was a big help to everybody there.
Absolutely, and I think the line that actually, you know, broke the ice during the funeral was, I said there was two things that I remember about Rodeo. I said that I would pull up in the parking lot and one of the first things I would hear is Gettysburg, you know, him doing his best impression of Jeff G. Bailey. And then if I came out of a match fucked up, he would be the first one to say, hey, come here, I got something for you. And he'd hand me, you know, he'd hand me a handful of certs, we'll say. He'd give me a handful of certs to say, you got a beer? And I was like, yeah. All right, well, give me a beer, and I'll give you these, and you'll be all right in about 15 minutes. So, you know, that's what we did. But that was kind of the icebreaker during the funeral. But anyway, just so nobody got hurt, we iggied Andrew, we iggied Rodeo because, you know, Rodeo was elder, and, you know, we could not lose Andrew, period. You know, fuck everybody else. They were, you know, they were expendable. So we kill the shit out of him, and they go to stretcher him out, and me and Bailey go through the curtain, and as they start to stretcher him back toward the damn curtain, you know, here comes me and Bailey sends me back, and I hit him, you know, I splashed him from the stage onto the gurney, slapped to the floor. And and so,
and at the time we were billing you as 600 pounds. Now, what were you weighing in legit at that time?
Oh, I was a legit 5, man. I was a legit 5. So I mean, you know, you weren't off by much, but so like I was legit like, and everybody, like nobody been iggy but those two, but everybody caught they caught the hint when I came through the curtain because they all let go. You know what I'm saying? And,
they wasn't going down with the ship.
No, he's strapped in this fucking gurney, man, and I like splash him from the entrance ramp, which is, you know, about 3 feet high, and he's, you know, being held up on this gurney, and they just all let him go, so all of my weight just hits him. And Jeff begins to spaz out, and, you know, he has me hit him with a couple more while he's on the damn ground or whatever, and, you know, they finally stretcher the guy out, and it's so fucking funny, man, because we get to the back. You know, this is something we never talk about. We get to the fucking back, and this guy, he's on his way out. That was his exit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you guys knew it. You know, you guys were off us. You guys knew he was on his way out. Get to the fucking back, and the first thing this idiot says to me, God bless him, I say hit him, man, fucking he's an idiot. First thing he says to me is, brother, I can't wait till we come back to this shit. And I just started laughing. I was like, dude, you're fucking gone. I'm sorry, but your ass is gone. There ain't no coming back to this shit. There ain't no we're going to do business together. You know, we ain't
yeah, anybody to go get a big run.
We're not going up to the Waffle House together with fucking Ed Ferrara. We're not doing any of that shit. You know, this shit is done. Like, pack your shit up and go home because we're just not doing this anymore.
And I guess Big Daddy Goth was a nice enough guy, you know, but he also is just kind of one of those slightly overbearing personalities where he always...
an arrogant prick, man. He was an arrogant prick, and I hate to say that, but goddamn it, he was an arrogant prick. Like I said, I like the guy. I see him, I speak to him, you know, but goddamn it, he was an arrogant prick, and he fucking didn't deserve to be there. And I hate to say that, and I might sound overbearing saying it, but you know what? Fuck him. He didn't deserve to be there.
Just one of that majority of indie workers that has that delusional complex going on, where they just think they're so much more than they are, and don't really listen to anybody's advice.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't draw flies if he was covered in horse shit, you know what I mean? So, like,
and he was a close talker with terrible breath. I remember that as well.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. God bless him. That somebody had gingivitis or fucking shit for gums or something, man. There was something wrong with him, but that somebody had the shittiest fucking breath. But anyway, I digress.
But yeah, so moving on from the squash match period where you were just slaughtering people, you worked a little bit with Laz, he had a pretty big push at the time, but was kind of also on the way down and on the way out, so it was a good time for him to be putting you over. And then you ended up moving along to work with some guys like David Young and Rick Michaels and Tank. What was your favorite feud just during that era as a solo guy in your first push?
I tell you, man, my favorite just solo push. That, don't get me wrong, the shit with Tank was awesome because we did some incredible shit, and I'll never take anything away from that guy because we're such good friends. You know what I'm saying? And the Cage of Horrors that we did, I don't think anybody can touch that. But as far as probably my favorite singles, run was with David Young. That was probably my favorite singles run was with David because I think we did some magical shit, man. I really did.
Yeah.
And I gotta step back. I gotta step back to one thing too. We did a six-man one time. We did a six-man one time, and it's one of my favorite matches. But I didn't do a goddamn thing in it because Bill Behrens made me stand on the apron for 8 fucking minutes. But it was me, Jason Cross, and J.C. Daz, and we wrestled Caprice Coleman, Jimmy Raven, AJ Styles, and there were some tremendous spots in that match that I was involved in because, everybody fucking did a dive on me. And then there was, 73 fucking super kicks thrown. Even Bailey threw a super kick in this match. That's one of my favorite matches that I was barely involved in. Got to put that out.
That was a good-ass match. And wasn't that the one where they did the finish where they never got the hot tag, and it was just they pulled them off the apron, and then Jimmy got pinned after taking all that heat? I thought that was clever as shit.
Yeah, they never got the hot tag, and I think I speared Jimmy to pin him or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. That was a great fucking match.
Cool. Oh, yeah, enjoyed the shit out of it. Like I said, I was not involved for at least 8 minutes of that match. I was a fucking person on the apron, man. And God bless Bill Behrens because, I think at that point still Bill didn't think I could work. So, hey, I understand it completely. And I appreciate him putting me in that match with such fucking talent, man. I had 5 guys around me that were just phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
But, David had to been my favorite singles program, period.
Well, he was the first person to ever really take you off your feet in any capacity. We did the deal with Scotty, and you actually at that time you were called Iceberg Slim, and you went to Japan and come back, and we dropped the Slim and started this whole push deal. And
the irony in that was Bill approached me and was like, I think we're going to drop the Slim part of it, because we've got Slim J, and I don't want people to get you too confused. And I was just like, hey, I don't think they would, but hey, I drop it. I didn't want it any damn way.
Yeah, I think just the Iceberg made you more menacing. I was definitely a proponent of that.
Right. And if I hear people I got people still that will remember me from the beginning. Hey, Iceberg Slim, and I'm like, no, it's just Berg.
Iceberg Slim's out there hanging out somewhere with Tank Norton.
Yeah, he's out there with Tank Norton, man. They're out pimping whores out in California. That's all I know. You know what I mean?
But yeah, you were undefeated for this forever. And it was just Iceberg, and that's how we got away with saying that you hadn't been pinned, because Iceberg Slim had been pinned. Iceberg hadn't.
Absolutely.
And so David Young was the first guy to do that. Even going to the cage match at the Freedom Fight where he spine busted you off the second rope, there was so much good stuff in that program, and we even wanted to push the envelope further. And I know Bill got a little nervous and didn't want to do some of the stuff that we were trying to do to get you there.
I think that was one of my favorite matches too, man, because I started that match with Scotty, and you know, he put me over, and then Tank was the next guy out, and I guess Scotty was, you know, he was pissed off, you know, because he lost, and you know, he jumped Tank. Tank was busted open before he ever made it to the ring, and you know, so I was able to get a pinfall on Tank, and then David came into the house of fire. Like I said, at that point, I'm 500 pounds. I'm blowed up, and I'm like, dude, you slow the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? But I knew when we were going to do that finish, man, you know, because we did some really good shit in that match. And I think I body slammed him, or he missed a moonsault or something. I forget whatever it was. And I went to the top rope like I was going to do the senton, whatever you guys call it.
The extinction level event.
Yeah, that's it, the extinction level event. And, you know, he hops up right quick and fucking comes up and spine busters me off the fucking top rope and beat me, man. And I swear that's one of my favorite moments in that building, because that place went ape shit.
Yeah, one of the biggest pops I can recall in the Wildside era was you taking that first pinfall. That was huge. I mean, that was huge.
Right.
And now, was it David that you ended up winning the title from?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. It was. Okay.
Yeah, it was David. We did a thing. He was getting ready to go to Japan, and he was our champion. And if you look for this, I'm sure it's on YouTube. But I hit an artery on him, or he hit an artery, and he's got the belt laying in front of him, cutting a promo in the back, and you can't even see the main plate of that belt because it's just covered in blood. You know, and it just, you know, it gives me chills now to think about it. You know?
I know, I remember that.
So, I mean,
David's like a consummate professional too. You know, he's still out there grinding away. He's a guy that's had a job, one of the best workers I ever met, and a funny motherfucker. That guy he's a fucking hoot, and one of the biggest pranksters I ever met too.
Absolutely. You know what? He used to give me shit all the time because, you know, David was always like really concerned about his body because, you know, he had a little weight to him, and he'd come to me and you know, he would talk about how you know, out of shape he was, and I was like, Dave, what the fuck are you worried about, man? You're fixing to be in the ring with me. Just fucking get as close to me as you can. You're gonna look fine. You know. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and, you know, we'd always laugh about it. But, no, David, man, he's worked really hard, and he's gotten himself into shape. And, you know, I mean, even when he wasn't, he's still one of the best workers ever to put on a fucking pair of boots.
Yeah, he could do it all, man. He could brawl, he could wrestle, he could do high flying. As big as he was, sometimes he could do high flying with no problem. He's really an all-around great. But, you know, working with David, you finally got the title. You had that big run where, you know, we got to milk that again for a really long time. We milked the pinfall thing forever. Finally, somebody beat you. You ended up taking the title off of him, and then we ran with it forever. And I'm trying to think of who finally ended up unseating you for that belt.
I will tell you, but before I tell you, I will also throw this in there. Come around Christmas time, Bill Behrens comes to me and he's like, "Look, we're bringing Stone Mountain in, and I want you to have one match with him. I want you to have one match with Stoney." And so I was like, "Cool, man. One fucking match. It won't fucking hurt. You know, he's a big guy. You know, we're going to have some fun with it, but that's all, you know, one match. That's all I'm getting, right? Yep, that's all you're getting, one fucking match." Well, that one match turned into about fucking 6 months. And I was not happy about that shit at all. Because bless his heart, as big as he was and as much of a draw as he was, that dude couldn't work. He could not work for shit. You know what I mean? I mean, I hate to say it, man, and if he gets pissed off, he gets pissed off. But he couldn't work for shit. And every time I came through that curtain after a match, I cussed Bill Behrens. And all Bill could do was smile because he knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. Like the final blow-off is me and Stoney had this fucking cage match at, I think it was Hardcore Hell. And I get him positioned on the fucking table, and I go up top. And there's a video of it somewhere. But as I'm standing there right before I jump off on him, it's just like I just let loose and double fingers, and I'm like, "Fuck you!" And I jumped, I put him through the fucking table, and I beat him. You know, because I knew it was over with at that point.
Just happy to be done with it.
But yeah, and so I step out of the fucking cage, and like I think Bailey had the belt, and I'm walking around the fucking ramp, and Hostel Hernandez comes out, and he starts chasing Bailey around the fucking ring. And I'm on the ramp, and Bailey runs past me, and Hernandez catches me with a fucking clothesline that caught me right on the sweet spot of the jaw, and he put me to sleep.
I remember this. It's all coming back now. I remembered who it was when you were talking about Stone Mountain, but no, continue.
Yeah, put me to fucking sleep. So when I finally start to come to, I've got like 10 guys around me going, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Where in the fuck am I at?" And I swear to God to you, the promo is on YouTube that Bailey cuts after the match, and he's talking, and I swear to God to you, Dan, you can look, and you know, I've never blinked through an interview. I've never blinked through a fucking interview. But if he's talking about Hernandez, buddy, the fucking lights are on. Nobody's fucking home, buddy. Nobody is at home. I am blinking, and I am not hearing shit he's saying. And Andrew zooms in. I think Andrew was the one running the camera in the back during the vignette. And he zooms in, buddy, and I just look like I should have been on a fucking short bus somewhere. You know, like I was late getting back to the goddamn rehab center is what I'm saying to you.
No, I remember that. And you were definitely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs that night, which spawned a hell of a program with Hernandez.
Oh, yeah, man. I had a 2.5 hour fucking drive home to where I just absolutely did not know where I was. And even talked to I talked to Phil Hefner, if you remember Phil from up in Rome. He called me on the phone because I couldn't have called no fucking body at that point. But he called me and I was like, dude, I might be done with this shit because I don't know where I'm at. I don't know exactly where I'm going. You know what I mean? Like I almost gave that shit up that night. But no, we turned that into one hell of a fucking program, man. And you know, I wound up getting my receipt on him. God bless him. And if you ever get a chance to talk to him, he'll tell you that story. And I was at one of Bill's meager rumbles. I call them meager rumbles. And I was in the ring with Hernandez and Judas. And Hernandez shot me. I was in the corner, and Hernandez shot me in. And Judas was going to clothesline me right at the top of the fucking head. And, I just went limp. Like I had a fucking stinger. I couldn't move.
Damn it.
I couldn't move at all, dude. So, that went into, let's see. I can't remember if I think maybe I had dropped the belt to Hernandez at that point. Because I think it was me and Onyx.
You did. You dropped the belt to him, and then you turned babyface pretty shortly after that.
Yeah. So my receipt to Hernandez, and this is what I was going to get to. My receipt to Hernandez, and you can ask him about it, and he'll be honest with you and tell you. I would always go to Bill if I had a problem, and I would say, Bill, I think I need a chair shot involved in this match. And Bill always knew what that meant. He may tell you that he didn't, but Bill knew what that meant. If I told him I needed a chair shot in the match, he'd give it to me, but he knew what it fucking meant. So in the match that I dropped the belt to Hernandez, I told him, I need a chair shot in this match. And so anyway, I gave Hernandez a chair shot, and he's got right at the top of his head, he has got a gash, and I don't know how many stitches, or if he even got stitches, or if he glued it shut, whatever, right at the top of his head. And he told me up in Philly, we'd gone to do a show up there several years ago. He said, because we're still tight, but he was like, you motherfucker, every time I have to go in a club, I have to either wear a goddamn hat or a bandana to cover up this vagina you put on the top of my head. And I was like, well, dude, I'm sorry, but you fucking knocked me out. So it was like, here's your fucking receipt. So, yeah, it was before that. Before we had that match at Christmas Chaos, Hernandez came to me, and he's like, brother, me and you beat the hell out of each other. Let's take it easy tonight. And I was like, all right, dude, good, because I don't want to go to sleep, and I don't want you to have any more busted fucking spots on your head. We'll be good. But I still, and I don't know if Mike knows this or not. If he doesn't, he'll find out when he listens to it, or I'll tell him when I fucking see him. But when he almost fucking broke my neck and gave me that fucking stinger, I held a grudge for a long time. So when we went into Christmas Chaos, and it's me and Onyx against Hernandez and Mike, I went to Bill again, and I said, Bill, I think I need a chair shot. And he was like, all right, buddy, whatever you need to do, just make sure it makes sense. And I was like, oh, it's going to make sense, all right. So I roll out of the ring right when we're getting ready to the finish, and I grabbed, I think it may have been one of the South Atlanta boys' chairs or something, and I roll back in, and I hit Mike with that chair, dude, and I swear to God, it looked like confetti because the paint from underneath the chair, it chipped off, and the fucking name tag of whoever's fucking seat it was, it all shot up in the air. It just looked like fucking confetti coming down in the damn ring.
Fireworks of a different variety.
Absolutely, man. I don't know. I guess the Hernandez thing made me think about that, but yeah, Mike, I love you. I swear to God, I do. Sean, I love you too.
Hey, Judas has turned into a hell of a worker, but Hernandez, look at the success he's had. So, that guy was one of the strongest dudes. He was one of the strongest natural athletes
he
I
didn't
ever
know
met.
he was going to break. The night he beat me for the belt, dude, he put me in that fucking border toss I was up on the corner, and I forget who. Somebody had come out to distract me or something, and I was facing the ramp, and I had gone up on that fucking second rope to jaw back and forth with him. And he came over and he grabbed me for that border toss, and he slung me from one corner of that ring to the next. I mean, that guy is unbelievably fucking strong.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big guy. You know, he's muscular and he looks big, but he doesn't, like, just looking at him, you can't tell just how unbelievably, freakishly strong that guy is.
Yeah, and if you ever notice, going back and looking at any of those matches that he and I had together, you know that big fucking dive he'd do over the top rope, and he'd give you that big shoulder tackle bullshit?
Oh, yeah.
You go back and you watch any of those matches that he and I did together, he didn't do that shit to me because I fucking told him, I ain't taking it. You're a goddamn near 300-pound fucking missile, and you ain't hitting my ass with that bullshit. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, I remember his debut match. He worked Masada, and he hit that in the match, and then he finished him by fucking giving him the border toss from inside the ring to the floor and beat him by count out.
Oh, my God.
That's how they got their spot. That was their tryout match.
Yeah, man. You know, and that was the thing, that you get those fucking tryout matches, buddy, and you would see motherfucking bodies flying every goddamn where.
Oh, yeah.
Every fucking where. You know, because, you know, Wildside, the layman fucking, you know, pro wrestling viewer, you know, they missed out on a lot of shit, man, because fucking Wildside was the place to fucking be. I mean, that's where every independent guy, that's where everybody in the country wanted to fucking be, because that's where the best athletes, pro wrestlers was fucking NWA Wildside. And I hate to even involve myself with that because I cannot fucking hold a candle to half the guys that stepped into that fucking building. But that is the fucking best, you know, that they had the best talent in the fucking country.
Oh, yeah, especially at that time. I mean, there was a real need for wrestling. There was a real starvation. WWE had just come off a really hot period. WCW just closed down. WCW was starting to get a little stale because they had no competition. And there's no ECW anymore. There's no Ring of Honor yet. Wildside was really the up-and-coming place to be for all the talent. And we're going to have to start winding it down here. We got about 3 minutes left on this edition. We're going to have to come back for a part 3, brother, because we still got to talk about the tag team years, the end of Wildside. We got to talk about a little bit about the Anarchy days. I want to touch on Ring of Honor and the whole TNA experience, and you know, talk about just some road stories and some fun stuff as well. So, you know, we still got a whole lot more to touch on, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't got but just a few brain cells left, but I guarantee you I've got some shit in my mind for every damn thing you just mentioned. I've got damn stories, and some people might get pissed off, and some might not, and, you know, fuck them if they do, and fuck them if they don't. I still love them, but goddamn it, we've got some shit to touch on, I promise you.
Well, you know, this is the honest and real story of Wildside as being told over several episodes by several different people. So say your piece, man. Say whatever you want to say, because, you know, I don't know what's going to come of it. Down the line, I'm going to try to compile it and maybe put it into a book or something. I don't know. But, you know, at least right now it's living on in podcast form. So, like I said, don't hold back.
Hey, don't think I ain't done put the bug in Bill Barron's ear that we need to damn do a reunion show.
Oh, now, yeah, that's got to happen.
That, I promise you, that right there will draw. That'll draw a fucking house. I don't give a damn where we do it at. You put a damn Wildside reunion show together, and that shit's going to draw a house. I don't give a damn.
No doubt. Well, fans, we are out of time, so thank you for joining us yet again, and we'll be back next week with more of the No Pain Train Iceberg. You don't want to miss it here at BodyHumor.com. Keep one foot in the gutter, One fist in the gold. This is the Rev with Iceberg, and we're out.
Damn right.